I don't like starting my day or week with tech issues, but we all have issues. So let's all jump into starting our day with gratitude, love, joy, and appreciation. Let's all do that just for a minute. Reach into your week or weekend. Let's just drop right into that feeling and let's make it real. Let's create it. Let's share. Let's share what is alive for you today. Let's share what has given you these feelings of gratitude, love, and joy. We make them real by speaking them or by writing them into the chat, writing them into your journal. So where are we at today, and who would like to share? I'll share that today I got to finally, I haven't worked out in a while, and I've just had a lot of weird, I have a knee thing, I had a back thing, I had a rib thing, and so finally I got to move my body this morning a little bit, gently, and it worked out really, really, really well. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for some really deep talks that I had with my sons this weekend, even my older one who still insists that being a teenager means hating his parents. Yeah. How about anybody else? Who else wants to share? What's giving them love, joy, appreciation, or gratitude this morning as we start this week?
I can go. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Toby?
So I had a great trip in Mexico. I have my son right there doing work for me. So I try to do as little work as possible, so he's doing the work. And I get to see you this week on Friday.
Yes, sir. All good things. What's your son's
All great
name?
things. Nicholas.
What a great name.
Nick.
Solid name.
So
Nick, you've got a great name. What do you have him doing over there, Toby? What's he doing for you today?
So today he's doing bills. He's paying a water bill, I think, right now, and then he has to go check on making the drive, make sure walkways are salted appropriately, et cetera, et cetera. The stuff that we did when we started.
He's amazing. That's amazing. Oh, I'm glad you're teaching him. Someone gave me this idea this past week. I forget who it was, but they're paying. I'm now going to pay my son $80 to read, do a report on, and then present to me a 30-minute presentation on the Rich Dad Poor Dad book. Since he won't do it otherwise, I'm going to see if I can pay him to do it. If he's interested, if he's not interested, he's not going to be into it. So that's okay.
Well, he did read that book. So right now I pay him a measly $20 an hour, which is short change. And he says he wants a raise. And I says, great, you need to figure out how to create the value to deserve the raise. Right? Isn't that how it works?
That's how it works. We are equivalent to our value, right? Yeah. Oh, I love that. Toby, I'm really excited about our interview on Friday. Thank you, dude. It's going to be awesome. Yeah. All right. Everyone else who's jumping in, anyone else want to share something that's giving them love, joy, appreciation, gratitude, past week or weekend, or just what's alive for them this week? What's alive for you as you're coming into this week? This weekend happened. Anyone else want to share? Michelle, you're always good for a share, aren't you?
Yes, I am,
Not this
sir.
morning.
Yes, I am.
Yay.
Sorry, I was up to my arms and dish gloves and dishes, but that's okay. Let's see. Lots to be grateful for. I actually just came out of a great meditation a few minutes ago, holding my selenite tower, so I think I'm still floating. But just getting my head around, the upcoming move. Being grateful for just everything I have in my life. I bought myself a nice smart cooker. Do you know what that is? It's like a combination of a slow cooker and a pressure cooker. Made myself a beautiful turkey chili yesterday, and I have to say it came out quite gorgeous. So just being super grateful for new beginnings.
Yeah, that's amazing. All right.
Thanks. With all the powerful info that's come to light, But that's not what you asked me.
No, it's all about what's alive. Yeah, I know for you, you had a lot happen last week. So I want to make sure you're still in a really good, solid growth space. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. I really am. Yeah, I'm just now, my mind is sort of exploding with ideas and I'm trying to keep myself grounded, at the same time. But yeah, it's really interesting once you let go of what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah.
I'm sure no one's ever done that here.
I love that. That's a question that we can pose to anyone who's willing to share, right? I know I've had my share of these for sure. What's like this vision that you've had for something in your life that you keep kind of running towards it. You keep chasing it. You keep taking steps towards it, but you haven't quite made it there yet. And then, you know what, here's a better question. What is something that you've been focusing on, chasing, taking baby steps towards your entire life, only to find in one day that entire outcome that you were chasing came to you in an entirely different way, not the way that you thought, not the way that you were even pushing towards? Has anyone ever had something like that happen to them? Where they just had everything that they were looking at, but it came in an entirely different way their brain could not comprehend.
I feel like that might be happening to me right now with this whole court bullshit.
Yeah.
Like a fucked up roundabout way. Things are going to turn out okay, but I have to go through this misery first. That's
You
how
care
I'm
to share where you're at with that, Christina?
just annoyed.
Yeah. Yeah.
My time is coming
luck.
right behind you, Christina.
Oh, good. We can do it together. I don't know who's
Yeah.
talking, but we can do it together. Veronica.
Veronica.
Christina, the best part is you are a pro at analyzing bank statements now.
Yeah, I sure am. If you go through any bank statements, if anybody needs a forensic accountant, I'm your girl.
Well, sitting on the other side, Christina, it's very difficult to see. There's lots of good that's coming out of this for you. There's
Yeah.
lots of good. Going through the shit is always shit, right? Andy Dufresne, Shawshank Redemption.
It's just like,
Comes out a clean man.
I think my anxiety is like, I can see what's very obvious, but I've heard so many horror stories about family court not going, the obvious way that it should. So that's like where I am today.
Yeah. And that's our brain trying to protect you, right? That's the same thing we've done, that it's been doing for years. And then your spiritual self, right? Your enlightened self, your higher self knows that this is going to happen and turn out exactly the way it's supposed to, right?
Yeah.
Really tough to lean into that though when we start thinking of all the scenarios, right? When the computer's running.
It is. I wish I could just like shut it down until, at least January 8th when we get to our first mediation.
Yeah.
Which I think is just going to be, a formality. I don't think anything's happening on that date, but.
Yeah. Yeah. It didn't happen for me either. And again, all I can keep reassuring you is that everything just gets so much easier. It gets so much easier. Yeah.
It's like when you have a newborn, right? And people just keep saying, oh, don't worry, it's going to get easier. It's going to get easier. And you leave it until like it's actually happening.
I want to stab you in the eyeballs if you say that again. Yep.
Yeah. No, I don't feel that way. I just like, it's almost kind of like now that I've seen the proof of concept, right? I can take some ease with that. It's some days are good and some days aren't.
Yeah. Yeah. And you have an insulator now. Yeah. I know you still have to deal with a lot of stuff, but you have something in between. So you don't have to be handling and reacting, right?
Yeah. And I'm waiting for my attorney to send me back like the deficiency letter that has to go to him for all the stuff that he's missing. And I keep going to email her and I'm like, stop, just let her email me. Just be patient. Instead of trying to drive the train, I'm like, okay, just wait. That's
it. And I'll also share this, right? Like no matter how much you want this to go quicker, it's not going to.
I
so
know.
Just let that go. That was a lesson in patience for me.
Yeah. And everything I've come across is like, just be patient. So I'm like, okay, I'll just wait.
Yeah. Imagine all these new boundaries that are being set, lessons that are being taught to him, different times and ease with the kids, knowing exactly where and who and how, knowing that they don't have to necessarily sit an hour, and wait or what the hour away. Like I'm just feeling a lot of really good things around this, Christina. And the money part, easiest.
It's tough because Blake's like missing him. He's been very vocal about it. And it comes in waves. So even though it's only 2 days a month that changed, it seems to be like a week in Blake's brain. Cole's like, whatever, I'll be with you every day. But Blake is like, he's definitely feeling it more. So it's just a lot of mitigating more than just my feelings.
Yeah. Yeah. And allowing the feelings, right? Not even trying to explain anything, just allowing him.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. That's a great example. Wow. Yeah, you just brought me back to mine too. Wow. So many things, so many great, wonderful things came out of that, but you had no idea during the 3 years it was going on. Yours won't be 3 years. Yours won't be 3 years, I promise.
It definitely won't.
You've already done your time.
Up in jail. You guys will have to come visit.
I love that. Well, thank you for sharing. Does anyone else have something? What's an outcome that you've been working towards, striving towards, And then all of a sudden in your life, there's evidence of it coming into your life through an entirely different way that you never had any clue it was going to come in that way, that specific way. Who else has had an example like that? I'll share mine. I mean, some of you here have heard the envisioning exercise that I did in 2006, forgot all about, and then took it back out in 2021 when I found it in a move. But, I had this big envisioning grand exercise of thinking about my life, what it was going to be like, the house I was going to have, and the relationship, and even 2 boys that were not even thought of course, 20 years ago. And for me, it took everything else, which Christina just shared, right? Like it took everything else, me learning how to be the person without knowing that's what the universe put into place for me. I had to learn to stop using certain things as my addiction, as my tool for working through stuff that was too hard, right? For me, it was my work. And just moving through learning how to be that person that can hold, that form of house or that relationship or those kids. But that wasn't anything that I was trained to do, right? I was trained to, like a numbers game, right? After my first relationship, really deep, I was like in love with this woman, like high school, like we were meant to be together. Like this was it. Like this was the moment. And we took time off. We came back as adults. We were now mature. We got involved in business together. And then we went to see that. It's so funny. We were coming back from our honeymoon and we were just on like cloud 9. And we went to Salem, Mass to see a psychic. It was the goddess's treasure chest. Her name was Sylvia. I still remember all that. And we had like this reading. It was the day after coming back from our honeymoon. And she did, reading for her, reading for me, and then together. And she couldn't even do the reading for us together. She said, I just want to let you guys know that I'm also, and she gave us her card, I'm also a doctor in family psychology. And I don't want to tell you what I see, but in case you ever need me, please give me a call. And we were like, this lady's on crack. 6 months later, we were divorced. And it was so interesting because she was with me in that session with Marshall Silver when I wrote that envisioning exercise. So of course, my entire envisioning exercise had this woman, right, in the household, her description of her with these 2 boys, with the floating stairs, with the water feature, and my life like came to a halt. And it was so funny because then I just, okay, well, I'm in real estate. I went through therapy for a while and she said I should start getting myself back out there. So I looked at it as a work thing, as an addiction thing. Well, if I just write so many online messages a day to these online dating portals, numbers say I'm going to have to get something. And it was funny, like trying so hard to even make that a part of my life when it wasn't a part of my life, right? Like work was everything to me. Work was my relationship. And I was really good at it because it was giving me stuff back when I was pouring into it, but it was not allowing me to really look inward, really see like the stuff I needed to look at, the stuff I needed to work on myself. Because whenever anything felt weird or bad or ugly, I would just put my nose in my computer and in my cell phone. So interestingly enough, all the things I'd been taught, it's just a numbers game. Just get yourself out there, go on X amount of appointments a week to find the one. It was only after I just finally quit that my next relationship came into my life. And it was only after I finally let go of the reins in my business did my first round of abundance finally come in, when I finally learned to trust others. And then by learning to trust others, I also learned how to get hurt by that. But that cycle is what we are. We're humans. So as we learn to trust, we also learn to be hurt. As we learn to be hurt, we learn more about ourselves. We learn more how to stop the reactivity. And we also learn more about how to heal. I'm kind of bringing through a few different arcs right now. In case this resonates with anybody, or I might just be going on my own rant. Does anyone else have anything they want to share before I jump into, I have a little quote today that we wanted to ponder. Joel, you're still on. I know something I said just resonated with you. Okay. He's probably got his hands in dishes too. Yes.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, brother. Share. What do you got?
So funny story. I also saw one of those card readers a few years ago, and they came up with a burning tower. And this is at the time where I had like all these projects going on. I had a team of like 7 or 8 people working for me, and things some things were going great, some things were not, and I was, I was experiencing some frustrations and giving people too many chances that I should have, and not firing fast enough. And basically she said, I don't remember the words, but essentially it was going to be like, there's going to be like you're going to have to like rebuild, but it's going to be for good. You know what I mean? Like, and I was like, at the time I didn't want to hear it. I was like, kind of wanted to put my head in the sand. I'm like, how, you're telling me that what you wanted to say, like everything that I had going on was going to like be no more or something like that. And at the time I had those feelings of like, I had to make some changes. I had to fire some people, and I just took it. I just took it and left. And I was like, all right, she said that it's going to be what it's going to be, and whatever. We'll see what happens. And sure enough, like a year or so later, like I was, the team had been let go of. Like some of the projects had been dismantled. I found myself in a place where I had to kind of like figure out what I wanted to do moving forward, and that all happened. And I keep thinking about that lady with that card that she pulled out, and how that like, she called it. She called. I wanted it, but maybe I didn't want to hear it because it was going to be too painful.
Yeah.
But it happened, and today, right now, I'm in a point where I feel great. I mean, I feel really good about everything. But that was a really hard time, and that was but it needed to happen, and it was crazy how she was able to pull that out and see that for me, even though I
And
wasn't
you
ready
needed.
for myself.
Yeah. Yeah. And with the tower, dude, oh, it's so. I had the tower pulled on me 3 times in a row. It was in 2021.
I was like, she can't be right,
It was unbelievable. And everyone thinks that when you see we're talking about cards, you don't have to believe in cards. It's totally fine. I don't necessarily believe in them. I do believe in intentions, right? I do believe in what we put out in the universe, what we get back. But what Joelle is talking about, most people, when they pull these cards or they go to a psychic, they pay some money and they do these card readings. Everyone's afraid of the death card, right? The Grim Reaper that comes out. It's like, oh, that's a scary card. It's like, well, no, the death card just means transition. The death card means it's the ending of a phase. You're starting a new phase. When you pull the tower, that's the one that everyone's really afraid of, because that literally means everything that you have built in your life up to this moment, it has to be torn down and start over. Again, it's a beautiful card when you put a different meaning behind it. But knowing what you have to go through to dismantle and tear down the tower that is in your life in this moment, and that could be a relationship, it could be businesses, it could be your body, it could be all sorts of things that now can be built on a more solid foundation of authenticity, of trust, of integrity, right? Instead of, and this is where I've come to learn, right? I'm just going to keep going with this one. Instead of us building things or getting involved in relationships or taking care of certain things because we're running from something, right? We start by running from things, from scarcity, from fear, from abandonment, from rejection. And then we're able to pause, and we're no longer running to things, to this outcome, to this expectation, to this random target and objective that I set for myself, that even once I get there, I'm not going to be happy inside. The tower is you finally reeling. And some people do this in Joelle's case, right? And some of us take down the tower, but then we rebuild an entirely new tower that's still on a very shaky foundation. We are still building it by running from something, or we're still building it by, putting our ego out there and having people look at us for attention, whatever it might be. But once you start to really feel into, right, what would you do today? What would you build today? What would you create today if you weren't running from anything and you also had zero attachment to the outcome, zero attachment to the actual result? And that's actually good. That's a great segue into our quote today. I want to read this quote to you guys, and I want to see if anybody has any feelings around it. This was a really good one. It's not from one of the books. This is just a real quote. All right, I'm going to do this with my tech issue. Hold on a second. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. Can you still hear me? I can't see anybody. So someone give me, oh yeah,
Yes.
Thank you. All right, cool. Thank you. All right, I'm reading a quote. When an archer is shooting for fun, he has all his skills. If he shoots for a brass buckle, he is already nervous. If he shoots for a prize of gold, he goes blind. Or he sees 2 targets, he's out of his mind. His skill has not changed, but the prize divides him. He cares. He thinks more of winning than shooting, and the need to win drains his power. This is from The Way of Shang Tzu. Hold on, let me go back to see you guys here. There we go. Yeah, that was from it's a Taoist teaching from Shang Tzu. Has anyone ever heard that before? Or if you haven't, what are your takeaways from it?
I'm not sure if this is on target or not, but I'm going to go for it anyway. It's what's coming to me is it's almost like it's like you're losing the joy because now you're focused on the outcome. You're holding on too tight of what the outcome needs to be, whether it's money, winning, whatever the thing is, and you're losing sight of why you enjoyed it in the first place. I don't know. It was in there somewhere, but
honey.
Yeah,
you're never wrong, Michelle. It's always it's our perception. Yeah, good girl. You're safe.
Thank you.
Reminds me of the quote that what is it? Do good by doing well. And it's if you're doing well, then you're just going to do good. Eventually, it's just going to work out.
Oh, interesting. I haven't heard that one, Joel.
I a butcher who quoted that. I'm going to butcher who quoted that, so I'm not even going to try. But recently I heard that, and I was like, oh, I like that one. I don't know if it was Thomas Jefferson or something like that they said, do good by doing well, or do well by doing. Yeah, and I was like, wow, that resonated. So it's similar. If you're focused on what brings you joy, then the rest will work itself out.
There it is. Exactly what you just said, Joel. That's our third alignment question, right? We ask ourselves here, Manifest Monday calls, right? Is what's that one baby step we can take today that brings us to the most exciting or passionate thing in our lives? That's it. What's one baby step with pure intention? And then dropping any attachment to the outcome. We follow that as far as we can with the highest good, with the highest excitement, with the highest passion, until we choose not to follow that anymore. And then we get to choose the next thing that gives us passion, joy, excitement, right? And that's what the archer is, right? So when we're looking towards something, right? There's some people who are clutch. How's the word? There's some people who just clutch people okay, when the pressure's on, we're going to get this thing done. Okay, that's really, really, really good. Are you loving that? Or is it just an addiction to the dopamine of being in that chaos and then of moving through the chaos, right? How cool would it be if you could wake up every single day and you're excited to wake up again because you know that everything you're going to work on that day gives you this sense of joy, of purpose, of just complete appreciation. People and everyone, all the brains then kick in. All the brains. No, you can't do that. No, someone has. I was just having this conversation on the radio station on Thursday. Someone's got to clean the toilets. I'm going to tell you guys something. This is what my brain did, right? No, someone has to clean the toilets. Someone has to do all the grunt work. No one likes to do the stuff that I don't like to do, right? No one, and there's always the who not how book. It's well, wait a second. That's not real. And everyone can just be all this woo-woo shit, but someone's got to pay the bills. Someone's got to work hard. Someone's got to grind. Well, I'm the walking fucking example that the moment I finally let everything go, literally everything, and allowed the 3 or 4 million in debt to accumulate, right? All of a sudden, the entire fucking floodgates opened up again because I finally wasn't running from scarcity or running for ego and attention. So, all that to say, if you wake up in the morning, you get to choose joy. You get to choose what you want to work on. What projects excite you? Who do you want to share your energy with? How do you show up for you in a deeper way today? How do you love yourself? And now you get to show up for someone else. Who else you choose to show up for in a meaningful way with the highest frequency of love? That's all we're made of. And then, what's one thing that gives you excitement or passion? And take one or a few steps today towards that. Knowing that everything else truly, truly falls into place. The thing that we've been brought up to worship, this almighty dollar, it's a byproduct of us doing the inner work and then of us pursuing our highest excitement. It's not something that needs to be chased because what you chase will run from you. It's not something that needs to be worshipped because it's actually the lowest form of energy we could possibly be in this moment. Money is tangible. It's man-made. Instead, we focus on love, joy, excitement, passion. So what is that for you? There's the question to think on while we end the call and move into the week. Think about that. What gives you joy and excitement? And if you follow that, you get to love waking up again in the morning. I speak from experience. All right. For those who are with me, I'll start a week with a deep breath in and release. And take another deep breath in and release. As we move into another week filled with abundance, filled with creation, filled with ascension. The words passion are coming in. The words purpose are coming in. And with passion and purpose does come profits. As we sit with ourselves, as we learn more about who we are, a divine being of light, being able to experience life and all of this experiences and all of the creation that we have created before this, let's sit in with it. Let's really lean into who we are, to our emotions, to our beautiful thoughts with the computer that won't ever stop running since we were little, that keeps us safe. By loving that part of us, by loving all of those little pieces of us, those little voices that show us maybe what we're running from and maybe what we're running towards. Instead of feeling anything about them or being angry with them, we learn to love every single aspect of ourselves. And by loving every aspect of ourselves, including those ones we might find tough to love, we're able to love others on such a deeper level. Our triggers, our anxieties, our fears start to melt away, and we can truly learn to start living an unlimited life. Leaning into the discomfort of growth, leaning into expansion this week and what that looks like for you, leaning into just rest. If you're in a season of rest, of dormancy, knowing that every single frog has to crouch before it leaps forward. Embrace your season. Embrace where you are this week. Follow what your soul is calling for you to do. And like we mentioned, everything else is a byproduct. So let's move into this week with creation, with love, abundance, with richness, the richness of being present with each moment. And we'll end with that presence, with a deep breath in and a huge release. Beautiful, my loves. Thank you, tribe. I love you so much. Thank you for being on with me. Enjoy your week. Have an amazing, amazing start to the week, and lean into the WhatsApp if you need anything. We have alignment questions in there. I think Angelica posted those. And I'll see you next week. Same bat channel, same bat place.